I know. I said I wasn't coming back until 2018, but then I thought, fuck it. It's been a while. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your December 27th NXT review. I haven't done this in a while. Lots to catch up on, lots to comment on, and I knew that there was going to be a pretty important match happening tonight on NXT, so I thought I'd make an exception. Got to get rid of the house cleaning, for first and foremost. Couple of things. Go up into the annotation. Join the Q&A. You guys know the deal on that. Q&A is coming up the week before the Royal Rumble, but also, there is going to be all the other previous NXT reviews and all that sort of thing, which is all kinds of fun. There's also a new tab that's going to be there called Off the Cuff. Now, you guys know that have been paying attention, that watched me a couple days ago, along with Christian and Guapo. We did our fantasy booking of WrestleMania, which was a lot of fun. Thank you to those guys. And this is going to be the first in the Off the Cuff series. Now, most of the time, the Off the Cuff series is going to be something that is, like the name suggests, it's going to be right off the cuff. It's going to be when something happens in wrestling that that I think needs to be talked about, or something that's newsworthy at the time. It's not a news series. It's not a, you know, breaking news, da-da-da-da. I'm not Sean's View Entertainment. I'm not Goofball from New York. This is just my commentary, my opinion on such. Now, I've got two other ones. This is where I need help from you guys. I've got two other ones that I was going to save until January 1st because I said I wasn't coming back until next year. But seeing as I'm breaking that to do this, I will give you guys one in advance. Now, what I want to know from you guys is, which video do you want me to post on Friday? Do you want me to post a video that is about the upcoming Mixed Match Challenge, along with the very stupid accusations that Samoa Joe is sexist? Or do you want me to post the video about the WWE Universe versus porn star Mia Khalifa? Because I got two videos in the canon ready to go. I actually recorded them about a week and a half ago. So they are dated. I don't think anything's developed on either story since then, so it could be a lot of fun. But that is going to be up in the annotation here, along with the Q&A, along with the other NXT reviews, along with the tackles, the pay-per-view preview videos that myself, Christian, and Guapo do, because let's face it, those are a lot of fun too. And there might, and this is not for sure, so don't hold me to this, there may be, very small, there may be prizes this year for the pay-per-view pick 'em. It's in the works. I got to figure out how it's going to work. I got to figure out whether you guys want to give me your mailing information so that I can send you prizes, and I got to figure out how many people are actually interested in what might be happening. So that is something that could be, you know, a little extra incentive to tune into the Tackle series, because I know myself, Christian, and Guapo, we get on there and we drone on quite a bit. The WrestleMania fantasy booking video, I think, ended up being almost 2.25 hours long. So if you want to sit through that, it was a lot of fun. But there's a lot for you to check up in that annotation up there. And nothing's really going away. The only thing that's really going to be added that wasn't there before is, as I say, the Off the Cuff series, and also I will be covering the Mixed Match Challenge. The mixed tag tournament that WWE is doing on Facebook Live, which is going to be really weird because up here in Canada we have Facebook Live. This is being supposedly debuted on a new system called Facebook Watch. Now, I don't know whether that's strictly an American thing or whether that's worldwide. You guys can let me know. But I'm sure, I mean, it'll drop on Bali Rules, or it'll drop on some other streaming service. If I can't get it live, I will get it to you eventually, because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Now I've rambled for 4 minutes and I'm already out of breath because it's stupid o'clock in the morning, like usual. Let's talk about NXT. NXT started off tonight with the Street Profits. Street Profits taking on some jobbers, but they kept on referring to one of the jobbers as a young JBL for reasons unknown, because it didn't look like JBL whatsoever, and depending on who you talk to in the wrestling community, that's not exactly a good thing, is it? Anyways, collar and double tie up in a headlock by Ford, a few leapfrogs and a few shoulder tackles by Ford. Dawkins tags in, gets he backdrops Ford onto one of the jobbers. Some snap lariats by Dawkins, followed by a stinger splash. Now, the snap lariats are snap lariats, but a stinger splash in the corner from a guy the size of of Dawkins is pretty damn intimidating, and considering the large gentleman we have to talk about in the main event, that will be sort of a theme going on throughout the night. Pop-up Spinebuster by Dawkins, Frog Splash by Ford, and the Profits get the win. Now, the pop-up Spinebuster by Dawkins is fucking pretty. The Frog Splash by Ford is fucking ridiculous. Obvious win because they're facing jobbers. They go, they party in the crowd like they do. They cut a pretty generic, you know, almost New Year's type promo. They say, you know, this year we came, we saw, and next year we're going to conquer. Sorry, they call out the Authors of Pain, the Sanity, the ROH boys, and they basically sign off by saying, we ain't coming, we're already here. Which is a great thing, because you don't want to say, you know, we're coming, we're going to do something eventually, we're going to get there soon, you know, something's going to happen eventually. It's like, we're already here, we're already doing shit. I think they've already tied up their loose ends with Jobberelli and Gimmick Lost, so that's always a plus, because I didn't have to see them on my TV tonight, which is good. Next, we had Ember Moon versus Sonya Deville, which allows me an opportunity to talk about a lot of things. Sonya Deville makes me talk about Absolution, makes me talk about the Riot Squad, makes me talk about the 6, I should say, brand new women on the main roster that then parlays into a conversation about the Women's Royal Rumble, which is going to be fucking fantastic. Also makes this match completely predictable, but I don't mind, because Ember Moon's a great champion. You know, we waited a long enough time for her to actually get the belt. We felt forever like it was the impending thing, like nothing else. Nobody else was going to take the title. It was a foregone conclusion. So now that she's got the belt, now we can have some fun with it. And Sonya Deville isn't going to win the belt because she's on the main roster. This might be her last NXT match, but I like Sonya Deville. I think Sonya Deville's incredibly fucking underrated, and it's kind of sad in a way that they brought her onto the main roster buried in a faction, albeit with Mandy Rose and Paige, both of whom could get it. But a stiff collar and elbow tie at the start, gut wrench by Deville. Deville tries for an ankle lock right away, collar and elbow tie and a side headlock and an arm drag by Moon. Trip by Deville and a series of strikes by both women. A test of strength follows up with a boot to the gut by Deville. Dropkick by Moon and an apron cannonball. Apron Cannonball is pretty good. Now, I will say, and please don't take this the wrong way, but Ember Moon is not the skinniest person in the world. I'm going to pause right here. I'm not making fun of her. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying she's hard to look at, because she's really not. But she's got a little bit more thickness to her, so when she does that apron cannonball, there is a lot more force behind it than there would be if it was being performed by somebody who was a stick. No offense to anybody. But straight right hands by Deville and a gut wrench. Roll up facebuster into the bottom turnbuckle by Moon on Sonya Deville was fucking pretty, and I don't know whether it was botched or not, because Sonya Deville looked like she wasn't too happy about the proceedings. Suplex and a series of elbows by Moon. Gut shot by Deville. Springboard dropkick by Moon. But the Eclipse gets the predictable win for Ember Moon. Sonya Deville off to main roster land. Kairi Sane appears on the entranceway. A little bit cocky, doesn't say anything, but she's got, you know, where she would usually have the pirate wheel gimmick there. Instead, she's got the pirate telescope, and symbolically she gets out the telescope and she's staring at Ember Moon's championship, and Ember Moon raises it high up in the air. They kind of nod to each other. It's competitive, but it's very respectful, which is cool. That respect is completely contrasted by Kairi Sane getting jumped from behind and choked out by the debuting Shayna Baszler, which is awesome. I mean, I like NXT. I like when we have these respectful, like, have a good match for the sake of a good match thing. I mean, Sasha Banks and Bayley did it all the time. I mean, Sasha Banks was the heel, but by the end of it, they were hugging and shaking each other's hands, raising each other's hands at the end of the day. And it was this all big, respectful, we all get along on the playground thing by the end of it. But every now and then, you gotta have a badass that comes in there and steamrolls somebody, and I think that's what Shayna Baszler's gonna be. And I think that's what the audience at Full Sail thinks, because as soon as she was choked out, I mean, Ember Moon's popular. Kairi Sane is popular. Kairi Sane is ridiculously popular, both from the Mae Young Classic and from the little bit that we've seen her on NXT, and obviously her debut at TakeOver WarGames, where she put in a great effort. But the chant that was going out, that was ringing out at the end of this segment, was Queen of Spades, Queen of Spades, Queen of Spades. So I don't want to say this because it sounds cliche at this point. I think I said the same thing about Sonya Deville at some point. I think they're looking like WWE in their women's division, be it on NXT, be it Raw, be it SmackDown. I think they have it with Asuka a little bit. They want somebody with that Brock Lesnar appeal. Not that they're going to show up and wrestle 4 times a year, but that, you know, you can have all this other wrestling going on, but you have that one person that shows up and the whole game has changed. And now, you can say whatever you want about Brock Lesnar, but that point is still true. Are his matches as great as they used to be? No. Is he gassed at the end of a match, whereas he wouldn't be before? Yes. Is he a jackass that only wrestles 4 or 5 times a year? Yes, but you can't deny that the whole WWE, everything we're watching on your television, gets the feeling of it changes when Brock Lesnar is involved. And I think they've been looking for somebody like that in NXT. I think they think they have it with Asuka, which they do in a certain kind of way, with Sonya Deville definitely coming in with this sort of MMA gimmick. And I don't say gimmick in a disrespectful way. I mean, like, she definitely has some MMA background, but they're really pushing that image as well. Whereas, you know, even Shayna Baszler in the Mae Young Classic, yeah, she was known for MMA. They synced her up with Ronda Rousey a whole bunch in the crowd and the crowd shots and the publicity stunts and all that sort of thing. But she came in dressed like a wrestler. Sonya Deville comes in like the MMA person. She's playing a wrestler that's playing an MMA person that's playing a wrestler. But Shayna Baszler, I think she has that not necessarily going to give you the best match on the card, but she changes what the match is, and I hope that they'll really play up to that going forward. I rambled on that a whole bunch. Shayna Baszler debuted. Yay. The Authors of Pain cut a promo in the back. I mean, well, Paul Ellering cuts a promo in the back while they ramble around and punch walls and stuff. But basically, their message to the boys from ROH is, you will not write the next chapter. I.e., hey, we want our titles back. In the back, they ask Ember Moon what she thinks of the interaction between Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler, and she says, hey, I'm a champion, I got a target on my back, and it doesn't matter whether it's Kairi Sane or whether it's Shayna Baszler, but the next time they want to make a statement, they might want to try doing it in the ring. I like this. I'm starting to like this a little bit more. I didn't used to like it where Ember Moon goes from being this, you know, deep, dark, mysterious, like Finn Balor-ish creature in the ring to being backstage where she's this wisecracking, really, really sarcastic, regular person. It's an odd dynamic that I spent most of 2017 making fun of, but it's starting to work for me. I don't know if that matters to anybody, but I'm starting to like it. They show a great video package on how the 4 competitors in tonight's main event got here. Killian Dane defeated Trent Seven, which doesn't hurt my feelings. Gargano defeated Cassius Ohno, which definitely doesn't hurt my feelings. Alistair Black defeated Adam Cole. Baby. I mean, I could have gone either way on that. I'm starting to warm up to Adam Cole, but that's fine. Sullivan defeated Roderick Strong, which I'm not happy about because I don't dislike Roderick Strong, but it seems like he's the sad guy that always sort of gets brought along when there's a title situation. It's like, you know, when you go and you hang out with all your friends and your mom asks you to bring your little brother along because he's a good guy too. Roderick Strong, I've said it all year, and I'm probably going to say it next year too. Great wrestler. I'm sure he's got all the heart in the world. I'm sure he's got a very sad story that brought him to wrestling and all that sort of thing. Not gonna disparage that at all. I really just wish I cared more, and I don't. We get 2 announcements. Next week is going to be a Best of 2017 show. 2 hours with a specific highlight on Ember Moon. I will not be reviewing next week's show because I'm not going to be reviewing a review of 2017. If you want to know what I've thought about everything that's happened in 2017, you can go back and watch my actual reviews of those weeks. In 2 weeks, Sanity is getting their rematch for the Tag Team Championships, which I will be reviewing because it will be a normal episode of NXT. Now, rumors have it that in the time since this taping to the next taping, they've made some changes to the NXT arena, the Full Sail Athletic Center, I guess it is. So NXT's staging and all that is going to be different once again. I think that's kind of cool. Every now and then they re-up their logo a little bit, they re-up their music a little bit, and if they want to re-up their staging, I don't know how much they can really change because it's not that big a facility, or it's not that big an arena. It's comparable to when I go to the Rico for a house show, which I'm going to be doing in 3 days. Anybody in the Toronto area who's going to the Rico for the WWE hashtag WWE Toronto house show, and if you're going to be there, you want to come give me a wave, I'm not hard to find. I'm pretty obnoxious. Come up and say hello if you dare. Also, I will be going to Destiny Wrestling's Carnage at the end of January, where the main event is Pete Dunne versus Austin Aries. A couple of people actually in the comment section of my last video asked me if I was going. I will be going. Again, if anybody sees me there and feels the need to come and say hello, please don't be shy. It's a lot of fun. It's only my second ever indie show. The last indie show that I was at was last year. It was a Destiny show. It is the promotion run by Santino Marella, and the main event was Pete Dunne versus John Morrison. So the main event is the main event, and the rest of it is a bunch of people I don't know, but it's still a lot of fun. So people that have been telling me for years and years and years, hey, go out to an indie show. It's not something I'm going to do a lot, but if you give me a main event like Pete Dunne versus Austin Aries, you have piqued my interest, and I think it's like fucking $10 or some shit. Anyways, moving on to the main event, Killian Dane versus Lars Sullivan versus Alistair Black versus Johnny Gargano. I have to apologize in advance because my notes for this suck a lot, because a lot of these come in sequences of stuff, so I've sort of grouped them together, and we're gonna get through it together. How about that? Dane and Black brawl to start. Sullivan tosses Gargano around, and then Black tosses out Sullivan. Springboard moonsault to the outside by Black, who's caught by Sullivan, who gives him a snake eyes on the apron. Gargano tries for a crossbody. Sullivan catches him, and he does the same thing, so nobody can knock down Lars Sullivan. Until Killian Dane takes a shot. And he doesn't take a shot. He takes the shot of the match. I feel bad for anything they did in this match after this spot, because Killian Dane got a running start, and Killian Dane, the huge Irish motherfucker from Sanity, hit a motherfucking suicide dive on Lars Sullivan all the way up the metal grating of the rampway. Fucking insane. Fucking insane. I love it. Killian Dane, I know he's not the leader of Sanity. I really do. And I get that. And I know if somebody in Sanity gets a title shot, it's going to be Eric Young, and I have no problem with that. Like Eric Young. I've liked Eric Young since TNA. But if they ever decide to put the title on Killian Dane, I really don't know who they're going to have take it off of him, if that makes sense. Corner splash by Dane on Gargano, which is just terrifying because Gargano's small. Sullivan spears Dane into the apron, which is painful. Corner splash by Sullivan on Gargano. Sullivan tosses Dane into the steps, and then he brawls with Black. And we get another sequence here where Sullivan tosses Black off the stage, and he sort of hits himself awkwardly on the rail. Sullivan then gorilla presses Gargano off the stage into Black. Then Sullivan tries to powerbomb Gargano onto the commentator's desk, who can't. They've got a metal piece of rigging around the announce table, which is kind of nice. It looks like the edge of the old Monday Night Raw stage, that mechanical looking metal framework. So when Sullivan tries to powerbomb Gargano, Gargano holds on to the rigging long enough for, I can't read my writing, Alistair Black to come back and hit Sullivan, with a high knee that lays him out on the table. Then Black and Gargano get out of the way because Killian Dane, who I'm just about to say, hey, wait a minute, what the hell happened to Killian Dane? Killian Dane, once again, runs across the stage, leaps off the stage, splash through Sullivan, through the table. Motherfucker, it's scary. And I don't want to sound like the commentators that sit there and talk like every big wrestler is great, because we're not in the era of big wrestlers anymore. But seriously, look at the size of a guy like Killian Dane. Killian Dane, and I said it about Kevin Owens, I've said it about Samoa Joe, I've said it about Bray Wyatt. Somebody that size should not be able to move the way Killian Dane does. It's fucking ridiculous. Black and Gargano return to the ring after the two big guys have sort of taken each other out for the moment. And this is where it gets very cool, because the crowd sort of steps up to another level as Black and Gargano stare each other down, and then you get the dueling chants of Johnny wrestling Alistair, Johnny wrestling Alistair. And as they go at it, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, give it a month or 2 or 3, whatever the takeover is that goes into WrestleMania, that could be your main event right there. Johnny Gargano versus Alistair Black for the NXT Championship. But who knows? Forearm and a step up enziguri by Gargano. He goes for the slingshot spear, but he's met with a high knee by Black, and that because he just I I can't do it unless I just do the hand thing, but he goes to do this, the slingshot spear, and just, as he gets blocked, he just falls straight down on his face. You know, like my pantomime bullshit there. But, tries for the Gargano escape. It's broken up by Dane running in with a senton, a fireman carrying another senton by Dane on Black, toss powerbomb and an elbow drop by Dane on Gargano. Gargano is a fucking ragdoll in this match. Gargano is the Ziggler of NXT, but in a good way. I mean, Ziggler just lost his championship there on SmackDown, so I guess I shouldn't be making that comparison. Double powerbomb by Gargano and Black on Dane off the second turnbuckle. Sullivan returns and tackles everybody. A slam by Sullivan on Gargano, who then tosses Gargano out of the ring. Dane and Sullivan have their turn to stare down and brawl, and the crowd goes crazy once again. Clothesline by Dane on Sullivan. Black strikes, comes back into the ring as they're brawling and just hits them both. He starts winding up with the kicks, you know, sort of back and forth type thing, and I almost want to make a Daniel Bryan silly kicks reference, but it didn't last long enough to really become that. Black with a springboard moonsault and a knee strike to Sullivan. Black mass to Sullivan. Black Mass Sullivan should get the win, but he's pulled out by the ROH boys and Cole. And they sort of do a 3-on-1 beatdown on Alistair Black for a second. And for a second, I didn't know why, but then the commentators did a great job of reminding us that Alistair Black is the one that eliminated Cole from this tournament. So Cole joins in, and he does the brainbuster over the knee thing. But Gargano hits a suicide dive to Cole to chase away the ROH boys. Gargano somehow tosses Sullivan into the steps. Then he head scissors Dane into Sullivan, into the steps, gets back up, sees Black in the ring, still dazed from his beatdown. Slingshot tornado DDT by Gargano on Black gets the win for Gargano, who's going on to take over Philadelphia to get that title off of Andrade Cien Almas. The commentators, I don't remember whether it was Morrow or Nigel McGuinness, because it definitely wasn't Percy Watson, because he's still useless, and I predict he'll be useless in 2018 as well. But one of them referred to Johnny Gargano as the Cinderella story of 2017, and I really can't put it any better myself. Great show. Glad I decided to pop it on and review it tonight, just for the value of that match alone. But I mean, Sonya Deville versus Ember Moon was a great match. The Street Profits are a lot of fun, and there wasn't much else. There wasn't a whole lot of filler, which was great. I mean, we got Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane climbing up the ranks, so anybody that was worried that, oh my god, we've scoured out the entire women's division, can kind of go fuck themselves, because even if you don't include them, we've still got Aaliyah, we've still got Peyton Royce, Billie Kay, we've still got my girl, Nikki Cross, who got to get that belt eventually. This was a great episode of NXT, and I'm really glad I broke my own rule and came back to talk to you guys before the end of 2017. So, once again, I will say, check out the annotation up there. Check out the new Off the Cuff series. Get yourself into that Q&A so we can start 2018 off right with Ask the Phoenix. Check out everything. Check out my previous NXT reviews, and yeah, let me know what you guys thought of this show. I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting something, but I mean, we can always attack that in another video. Oh, let me know what off the cuff video you want to see. Do you want to see the one about the Mixed Match Challenge in Samoa Joe? Do you want to see the one about Mia Khalifa versus the WWE Universe? Let your voice be heard down below. If nobody tells me anything down in the box below, I'm just going to pick one, and then the other one will drop on the first. I've been Spaz, your YWC reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.